So you want to build $500 per month with dividend income. This is the simplest way to do it with ETFs. So no stock picking, no complicated strategy. Let's just focus on a clear target, a realistic plan, and consistency over time. Okay, let's break it down. So what does $500 a month actually mean? First, we need to reframe that goal. So $500 a month is $6,000 a year in dividend income. Now that number actually matters because dividends aren't paid evenly each month. Some ETFs do pay monthly, but most of them pay quarterly. For that reason, unless you have a monthly ETF, some months you're not going to get income and some months you are. So instead of chasing $500 a month, what you want to aim for is $6,000 a year. So how much do you need to have invested to reach that goal? Let's talk about how much capital you actually need. So with dividend ETFs, a good, reasonable long-term yield is 3 to 5%. I particularly like ETFs that have a higher yield as long as they have growth as well. So I usually am looking for a 5% per annum distribution yield or higher. So if the yield on your ETF is 4%, you're going to need around 150,000 invested. And at 5%, you can have a little bit less, around $120,000 invested. That's your rough range. Now, this might sound a lot if you're just starting out, but this is where most people think about it the wrong way. Here's the strategy that makes it more achievable. You don't start with $150,000 because most people don't. You've got to start with the first step. So instead of focusing on $500 per month, just focus on your first milestone. So a really good first milestone is $50 a month or $600 a year. That's roughly $12,000 to $15,000 invested, which is much more manageable. So then you start to scale it $50 a month, then $100 a month, then $150 a month, and so on. And the beauty is it's the same process from when you begin. You just get to repeat it over time as your income builds over time. That's the entire strategy. Why do ETFs make this a lot simpler? So let's talk about how to actually build this. Instead of picking individual stocks, which you can do, instead, let's focus on dividend ETFs. The reason being, when you're starting out, ETFs are a simple way to do this. You get that instant diversification, which is so important when you start investing. You get that consistent income, which we love. It's just a much more passive income approach to achieving this goal because you're not relying on one or a few companies. You already have a basket of them. So what do you look for when you're choosing an ETF to make this strategy work? A stable yield goes without saying. Now, this doesn't mean that you're chasing the highest yield. You want something that's stable and consistent over time. A good yield, yes, but consistency is more important. Have a look what's actually in the fund, what companies that it holds. So that way you get that broad diversification and you're investing over a number of different sectors, which is going to help you when the market's volatile, like now. And choosing something simple that just follows, say, an index is just going to make things a lot simpler. And of course, you want long-term growth over time. You don't want the value of the ETF to be going down as your income goes up. You do want both. You want that fund to be growing over time as well as giving you income. You don't need 10 to 15 holdings if you don't want to do it that way. You can do this with just 1 or 2 ETFs, and then you just add to them over time and grow them that way. So how do you actually build up that ETF that you've chosen? From here, it actually becomes a lot more simple. Choosing the ETF is the hard part, building it easy. What do? You just invest consistently over time. So either choose a time frame every month or a dollar amount every time you save up $500 or $1,000 or whatever it is for you. Whatever fits your situation, time-based or money-based, and then just consistently start investing. Consistency is going to beat perfection every time. And that way, without even trying, you're using a dollar cost averaging strategy, which means you get to buy more when the price is down, like now, and you get to buy less when the price is up. So it evens things out. And each time you invest, each time you put some more money into that ETF, you're increasing your portfolio value and the income that you're receiving over time. Because as time goes on, that's going to compound and you're going to get more money as it goes. Compounding is the magic here because at the beginning, your income is going to feel so small, but this is the magic. It builds over time. As your portfolio grows, your dividends grow. And if you choose to reinvest those dividends, and a lot of ETFs will allow you to do that, that means that you're buying more shares rather than getting the dividend income. That's where it really starts to accelerate. I love dividend reinvesting plans for ETFs. Not so much for single stocks, but for ETFs, I think they're brilliant. You can also take the income if you want to start paying a few bills with it, but reinvesting will make your portfolio grow fast. Both are valid depending on your goals. There's no wrong answer here. So what can you expect with this timeline? How long does it actually take? Now, this is going to depend on one thing, and it's all down to you. How consistently are you going to invest? If you are growing this regularly, consistently adding money over time, the hardest part is always going to be in the beginning. Building that first $10,000 to $15,000 is going to be the slowest and hardest part of it. But after that, trust me, things get easier. Your contributions start to increase and it starts to build. Your investments start to compound slowly at first, very small at first. But after that, it gets a lot easier. Not only does it become easier for you to invest because you've made it a habit, but the investments start to grow over time. Your income starts to slightly increase. It just gets a lot easier and starts to snowball after that initial investment. So if your goal is $500 a month or $6,000 a year, you're going to need roughly $120,000 to $150,000 invested in an ETF. But instead of focusing on that, focus on the small milestones. Focus on just getting to $50 a month first. Choose simple, diversified ETFs that give you good income, that are focused on giving you dividend income, and just build consistently over time. That is it. Now, which ETF you choose, don't overthink this. Go with the most popular one. But otherwise, take your time with it, stay consistent, and just let it build. Let your investing be calm and peaceful and grow over time. It doesn't need to be chaotic. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.